Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my studio.
Mats and tools are sponsored by the following brands. Also, the resin model we're painting is sponsored by Spellcrow.
That's good.
Today, we're wet blending the leather armor parts and also the horn at the latter part of the video. You do watch until the latter part of the video because the horn wet blending is a bit more clear. Today, we're going to use the Retarder Medium a bit differently than most miniature painters. I've been reviewing how to paint with oil paints the past week because I'm going to do some videos for Red Grass Games for the glass palette. So I thought, can we paint acrylics like how we paint with oils? We shall see in this video. For the leather parts, the leather armor parts, I decided to paint a dark base color first. The dark base color, the umber brown, is simply a safety net because I don't want to blend two colors on top of black. Having a dark base color will make us focus on the blending of the two colors later rather than focus on the coverage. The umber brown is simply our underpainting. For the horns, I used deck tan for the base color and this was a mistake of sorts. You'll see later in the video why. Oh, by the way, I'm using thinner medium instead of water, but you could always use water, and basically I'm thinning around 3 parts paint and 1 part thinner medium. It acts like water, it does not add transparency, it's just to thin the paints. Now the wet blending. I'll get blasted again at Facebook, much like our dry brushing underpainting, because I used a few people tell me that I use too much gray paints, and this one I use the Retarder Medium differently, so I'm kinda afraid to share this at Facebook. So I tested the Retarder Medium before. I mixed it with the paints and I feel it's not drying slow enough for me. So for today, we thin the paints the usual way. It's like 3 parts paint and 1 part thinner medium or water. And then we place like the Retarder Medium on the side. Step 1 is to apply a thin layer of Retarder Medium on the model. Step 2 is to paint the lighter color on the model. Step 3 is to paint the darker color on the model. Notice I reserve certain areas for the darker color and I'm not yet blending. Step 4 is to blend the edges between the light color and the dark color. Again, watch until the end of the video because the horn wet blending is so much clearer at this step. One more time, this time faster. You paint like the Retarder Medium on the model, just a thin coat, and then you paint the lighter color, then paint the darker color, and then blend the two colors together. At this point of the video, the Retarder Medium is slowly drying already. You could now add a bit more colors so that you have better coverage. So it's basically assigning areas for the light color and then areas for the dark color and then blending the edges of those colors together. Do not blend like over the lighter color or do not blend over the darker color or else you'll have a muddy finish. Wet blending is so good, and much like anything that is so good, you must learn when to stop. So that's it. If you don't use a hair dryer, the retarder medium could stay wet up to 1 hour. So just use a hair dryer. So another great thing for not adding the retarder medium to the actual paints is that we could use the excess paints for refining the model. So painting the retarder medium over the model and then you're not mixing it with the paints will keep your wet blending wetter much longer. So that's really good. So wetter for a longer period of time is, I should stop. Now we do filtering or glazes so that we kinda add a bit more color to the leather parts because it's a bit too orangey and I want it to look a bit more red so that it gives nice contrast with the skin. So the red leather plus the glaze medium is failing me. So I added a couple of drops of cavalry brown. Now our mixture is filtering better. Filtering like adding more color or additional hue or color to the model. Like I say in most of my videos, the more colors you use, the more interesting and the more complex the model will look. Now we finish off our worn leather look by adding shades and highlights. I highly recommend Smoky Ink. It's like the concentrated version of Agrax shade. So I thinned a mixture of Smoky Ink in two different ways. One is with thinner medium, like around 3 to 4 parts Smoky Ink and 1 part thinner medium. And the other one is 1 part Smoky Ink and a lot of glaze medium. The Smoky Ink thinned with thinner medium is like a semi-transparent paint, a bit similar to contrast paint. So I use it to paint scratches and add really dark areas or shadows and shades. The Smoky Ink thinned with glaze medium on the other hand is very similar to Agrax shade. Now we finish off the leather by painting more highlights with Sunny Skin Tone. We use this color for the edge highlighting and to add more scratches. Highlight color was thin 3 parts paint and 1 part thinner medium. Both umber and deck tan were thinned around 3 parts paint and 1 part thinner medium. Now I think this part of the video is much more clear because the horn is like it has a simpler shape. Note that the horns have a deck tan base coat. I feel or I think that my choice of colors here is a bit of a fail. I feel the base coat is too light. I should have used medium gray instead. Anyways, paint 1/2 of the horn with the lighter color. Then you paint the other half with umber or the darker color. Now you blend the edges of the two colors. As you can see, the blending is doing great, but I feel really the deck tan is too light. I should have used medium gray. But then again, once the retarder is dry, I could paint over like umber on the tip of the horn. So the wet blending will take you around like 5 minutes. It's really fast, it's really good, but it won't be like as smooth as glazing. So you could like refine the edges or the blending with glazes. Notice though that I'm applying glazes in like swift linear strokes so that I produce textures, because I'll choose textures than super smooth blending anytime. Now we're done. It's not yet final because we haven't painted the metal plate or the metal armor part on the left shoulder. I was planning to paint that too for this video, but the video will be too long and I don't like editing long videos. So that's wet blending acrylics like oils. I'm comparing it to oils because when I was like reviewing how to paint with oils, I have like linseed oil on the side, and then when I need to blend, I'll dip my brush on the linseed oil and then blend the paints together. So this one, you have the retarder medium on the side and then you painted it over the model. You don't do that in oil painting, but we did that because we need the paint to like dry slower, and it worked.
That's good.
Next time, we're going to do wet blending by painting the metal armor of this orc.
That's it, we're done. I hope you liked the video. Do like, comment, subscribe, and consider joining the channel so that you'll be part of our Discord community. Saludos!